Welcome back to Focus on Crestview. Today we have Principal Jones and Deputy Superintendent Randy Nobles, and they're telling us about North Okaloosa schools and all the exciting things they have going on. And before the break, Mr. Nobles was telling us about the different schools and how old they were and what's some of the things they got going on. But I also was wondering, can you maybe tell us about some of the changes, some of the principals? I think we recently got a new principal at Crestview High.
Yes, I was quite thrilled to be back at Crestview High. I spent 14 years there as a teacher, coach, and assistant principal before moving to Richburg and then on over to Show River. So I'm thrilled to be back there. But you're right, I'm not the only new principal in a new place this year. At Antioch Elementary, Wanda Avery, who was with me as assistant principal at Crestview High, and then was assistant principal for me at Richburg and Show River, as the new principal at Antioch this year. And Marlene Van Dyke has taken over at Riverside Elementary. And Vicki Hayden, who was a longtime assistant principal out at Baker, is now at Bob Sykes Elementary. And then Paul Whidden took my place. He is now the principal at Show River. Paul was an assistant principal down at Ruckle Middle School before he came up here. So we have 5 of us in new schools up there, so it's a good thing that we kind of get new blood, new life, and a lot of interesting things going on up there. I know at Show River they're doing a thing called a Mustang Learning Community, a whole new way of incorporating learning into little groups, and the students are going to be in pods, and they're going to be learning all of their core curriculum as well as some other things that they're going to be learning while they're doing that. And instead of just being in a math class and a science class, it's all going to kind of be working together, a lot of what they call co-curricular. People are doing things together. So there's a lot of neat, interesting things going on at a lot of our schools.
Well, we're glad to know that we have a bunch of new principals, but the new principals are all very highly experienced and very committed to our community, and all of them are people that live in our community or from here and worked in our school system for a while. So we're very glad to have all of our new principals. And before I have another question, I did want to say, we heard recently you were selected to represent our area, I think in a statewide organization as a principal. Is that correct, or can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, currently I'm the president of the Florida Association of Secondary School Principals.
Okay.
In fact, I'm leaving tomorrow evening after school to go to Tampa. The national convention or conference is in Tampa this year. Last year it was in San Francisco, so we're fortunate this year it's in our state. So I'll be down there the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at that conference, representing the state of Florida both as our president and as the state coordinator on the National Association of Secondary School Principals. And then next year, not this coming year, but the year following, actually the last year before I retire, I will be president-elect of the Florida Association of School Administrators. And then actually the year after I retire, I'll be the president of the Florida Association of School Administrators.
I know you're honored to do that, and we're very glad that we've got somebody from our community that'll be representing us at those various associations. So congratulations on your selection for that.
Well, I wanted the Panhandle to be represented. When I first got involved with FAFSA, I realized that everybody from Central and South Florida was running the organization, and we needed to get some. We think we are the top, but we're for sure one of the top performing school districts in the state of Florida, and so we need to have our voice heard as well.
Well, we're glad that you're going to be there to represent us, and we know you'll do a wonderful job.
And our superintendent as well, Dr. Tibbetts, is president. This coming year will be president of the Florida Association of District School Superintendents.
Oh, wow.
So she's going to be in a leadership role in her professional organization as well.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, Mr. Nobles, during the break we talked a little bit about a program called, I think it's Quest of the Mind, is that correct?
Odyssey of the Mind.
Odyssey of the Mind, okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what that program is?
Yes, Odyssey of the Mind is an academic competition, and kids they're not selected. They can join Odyssey of the Mind groups at different schools, and they compete with each other. They compete on grade level, and it's different and it's kind of neat. They walk in, and just to give you one example of one exercise they do, they walk in, they're given some type of materials, maybe popsicle sticks, maybe straws, it may be toothpicks, it could be anything, maybe a little glue, and they have to build a structure that can hold a certain amount of weight.
Okay.
And they have to come up, problem solve, right on the spot. Some of the other things, other types of competitions are dramatic competitions. There's problems built into those that the kids have to solve along the way. It's not math problems. Could be, it's some type of obstacle, and they have to overcome that obstacle in order to get their particular dramatic production completed. There's several different exercises. Different kids compete in different parts of the exercises. Show River Middle School this past weekend hosted the regional competition, which run from Pensacola all the way to Taylor County. And there were 700 students competing at Show River. And I spent about 3 hours over there. It's an all-day competition. It runs from 8 to 4. And I would say probably we probably had at least 3,000 spectators come through the school during the course of the day. The kids had a great time. I mean, they're dressed up in costume. The judges who come from all over the Panhandle are dressed up in costumes. And it's not like watching a ball game, but it's very interesting, especially, I mean, if you want to be entertained, you go watch a bunch of kindergartners putting on a play and making it up as they go.
Oh, wow,
so
yeah.
it's very interesting, very entertaining. Sometimes I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it's great for the kids to be able to express themselves and to work their minds in the fashion that they're challenged during this competition.
Yeah, and I know Mr. Jones is aware I have a kindergartner that's over at Riverside, and she's in Miss Madden's class, and it's great to have teachers like that and programs like that that help stimulate and enrich their minds besides what when I went to school, it seemed like all we did was schoolwork and that was it. So we're lucky in our area that we have such great schools that don't only include the academics, but our sports programs and other programs that allow kids to learn about aviation or to be in drama or bands. And that made me think of something. I never went to Crestview High, but I tell you, I had a ton of pride a few months ago when I was watching the Rose Parade, and around the corner came the Big Red Machine. And I know, Mr. Jones, you, I'm sure, couldn't hold yourself still being there that day. Can you tell us a little bit about what that experience was like?
Well, it was quite awesome. The first time that I really got a sense of where we were when we were standing on the side street where we were to join the parade, and when one of those huge floats came by that's all covered in flowers that you see on TV for all your life, and then you see one in real life right there in front of you, and then you realize, oh my gosh, we're in the Rose Parade. It's cool. And then when we turned the corner in front of all those people in the stands, there's huge stands there on each side of the street, and you look down Colorado Boulevard, and it's just a wall of people down each side of the street for 5 miles. It was quite an event, and very impressive, very special to be there. So surely a once in a lifetime experience for the students and for us, the adults that were there, and for to get the opportunity to be in that parade. I know by the time we got to the end of it, it was tough. It's a 5.5 mile parade from the time you step off until you get to the end, and it's gets long. I can tell you that. After a long time, you keep wondering, where's the end going to come, and it just didn't come. And when we got there, but the kids did wonderful. All of our kids stayed in it. No one dropped out. They performed great. I was walking in the back near the girls with the flags, and they were still twirling those flags right at the very end after almost an hour and a half, almost 2 hours of marching and doing that, and the drummers playing the drums constantly throughout the whole time. So it was quite an event, quite a thing. But I think at the end of it, we were just all weary and just glad it was over.
And your jazz band also.
Yes, our jazz band was selected to play at the breakfast they have for all of the band directors of every band that's in the Rose Parade. They have a huge breakfast for all of the band directors, and they asked our jazz band to come and play. And This is the first time they've ever asked one of the schools to bring their jazz band to play. They've always just used a local band before to play in that.
Well, that was an honor, and I guess congratulations to Jody, the band director, and the band for being able to be there and pulling it off in a wonderful representation of how good Crestview is.
It was. We really made a name for ourselves throughout the country. I know on Saturday they have what they call a band fest, and all the bands that march in the parade do their halftime show, do their performance at Pasadena City College there. They have a beautiful football stadium there with AstroTurf and everything, very nice place. And when our band hit the field and started into the first notes, and they really hit the way they usually hit it so hard, and the music, so the guy that was the MC came up to Jody Dunn, the band director, and just said, "Oh my gosh, now I know why we invited you all," because they were just so impressed with the show that our band put on.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Like I said, I mean, the pride to know that was our school and our people. And can you imagine that day, all the parents that wasn't there, that were sitting there looking for their student? You know, it's a wonderful thing to see our people and our band, our school, our students all over, being broadcast all over the world to show how good our teachers and our Okaloosa County schools are.
And that's the reason why we're sponsoring this. That's why we do this, because we could not have done that. I mean, there was a huge amount of money raised, several $100,000. We could not have done it without the support of the Crestview community. There's no way that the children couldn't have afforded to pay their parents. Most of the parents couldn't afford to pay for their child to go. So the fundraising that was done, the donations by businesses like yours, that's what enabled it to happen, not just for our band, but y'all do that constantly for not just us, but for the other schools in the community, and that's what makes it so special.
And the parade might be over, but it's not over. And obviously, we've talked about this a little bit, but a lot of the programs, a lot of people don't understand, and I didn't until I had a kindergartner, but they think that the school has funding for a lot of these programs, but they don't. So tell us a little bit real quickly before we finish up, how can we in the community continue to support these students in the school so they can continue to do things like the Rose Bowl parade and sports and so forth?
Well, I'm going to still, I think it was you who said it at the chamber breakfast the other day. I think it's be involved. I think the businesses have to be involved. The community has to be involved. You can't have that total program today with everything we do within the school unless you're involved. And the parents have to be involved with their kids. I think you have to be involved maybe the right way and work at it the right way. But that involvement is what makes our schools what they are. I mean, we got great administrators. I mean, you can see Bob's representing nationally and statewide as a principal. Dr. Tibbetts, the superintendent, is left a couple hours ago to Washington, D.C. She represents the state on a committee in Washington, D.C., appointed by the governor. So we've got great leaders. We've got great teachers. Our teachers are second to none. And we got good kids. The parents being involved, the community being involved, everybody being together, working together for that common goal is what makes it. So it's just being involved in your local school.
Well, we hope to continue to be involved, and we thank y'all for being involved in the chamber, and we love the relationship that we have, and thank you so much for sponsoring the breakfast. So we're going to take a little break now, and when we come back, Karen Hardell, your president-elect, and myself will tell you how you can be involved in the chamber. So once again, thanks North Okaloosa County Schools for sponsoring the breakfast, and we'll see you in just a moment.